Pac-12 all week long. It's Pac-12 week on Sports Radio 95.3 FM and 1350 AM. The Ticket.
Yeah, here's a topic we've been waiting to kind of sink our teeth into, Prater, during Pac-12 week, and that's the USC Trojans. The flagship program of this league has been basically since the inception of the Pac. You grew up watching those great John McKay teams, right? In the 70s and the 80s. You know, I grew up watching more of the Pete Carroll era, stuff like that. And some of the stuff when they were okay in the 90s, going to the Rose Bowl with Keyshawn Johnson and those guys. But USC this year, with Lincoln Riley coming in and all these transfers, it's kind of at a crossroads like the sound guy just said. But USC's always, it's a big deal in the Pac-12, and this conference it's kind of been the heartbeat. They need this team to be relevant, don't they? They were 4-8 last year, dude.
It's a bad timing situation for the USC to be bad in terms of the Pac-12 needs USC, and they've needed them for the last 10 years. If USC had been dominant the last 10 years, the Pac-12 probably isn't in this situation.
You're right.
I really think it's that powerful of an effect. Now, there's plenty of other factors that have been involved here. And yes, I love USC. I've been watching USC since the early 1970s. Ballgame, there's only one adult male I've ever stalked in my entire life, and it was Pete Carroll. I spent 4 hours looking for him one day, running around the USC campus, and I finally found him, and I got in his face and took a whole bunch of pictures. I'm an adult.
Yeah.
I was acting like Johnny Ballgame.
God, Pete had it going there, didn't he? Holy smokes, man.
That's how much I love USC football, and I really, truly do love USC football. But I'm not buying the hype, Ballgame. I'm not buying the hype. This is the perfect Prater and Ballgame storm.
Yeah.
I'm looking for a little substance. Ballgame's looking for a little hype. Where does it meet in the middle, Ballgame?
As someone who is buying the hype, as someone who does understand the AP poll ranking them 14th, even coming off a 4-8 season, which I have crumpled up and shot into the trash can. I don't even look at that. This is an entirely different team. And in many cases,
how about their last 4 seasons? 5 wins, 8 wins, 5 wins, 4 wins.
Clay
Helton. 4
Helton.
seasons.
Clay Helton. My God, Clay Helton.
And guess who 90% of Lincoln Riley's players are? Clay Helton players. Maybe not quite 90%.
Not even close to 90%.
Because this has been a massive turnover for rosters, but I guarantee you it's at least 50%.
How about 6 new starters on offense are all transfers? Half the offense that's going to be starting or transfers.
Is that a good thing?
I think so. Yes.
I think it's a crapshoot. I think you're gambling like crazy. I think you're gambling with bad money, Ballgame.
And a lot of starters on defense from the transfer portal as well.
Same deal.
They have probably 8 guys on their 2 deep defensively. No, I think those are improvements. Their defense last year was absolutely despicable. You can look at the numbers. There's no way you can even try to say, hey, they could have done this or that. No, they were just bad last year defensively. Offensively, they weren't all that bad, but they still finished 4-8. Here's why I'm buying it. It's just Lincoln Riley. I just have this feeling that he just hits the ground, not running, but sprinting in this league. I see him pimp slapping so many of these Pac-12 programs and kind of laughing like, really, dude, Pac-12, this is why he came over here with USC. I just buy it. I think it's going to work. I don't want to get too deep into the roster, although I do like a lot of the new players. Nobody cares about me naming names on the radio. I just think USC, I like their early schedule as well. They're going to hammer Rice week 1. I think they'll handle Stanford week 2, and then they're off and running on that, Prater. I see this as a 10-win team this year. They dodge Oregon, which I love. At Utah and hosting Notre Dame. Very interesting games there.
Yeah, the schedule is the only thing that really sets up really nice for them, and the hype itself. They also don't play Washington. I believe that they miss Oregon and Washington.
Yep.
So, the schedule is beautiful. Their non-conference games are kind of not really a joke. Rice is a joke. Fresno's no big deal. Notre Dame's obviously a legit deal. That second week road trip to Stanford, you're just going to shrug that off as a no big deal. Crazy things happen on the farm. The chemistry is not going to come together week 1, and it's probably not going to come together week 2. I think Lincoln Riley is going to be good. You want him to be good right off the bat.
Yeah.
And I'm going to ask you, by the way, what made you think Lincoln Riley was so good at Oklahoma? He didn't do great things there. He didn't do fantastic. Did he ever get them into the CFP?
Yeah, a couple times.
Well, I guess, no, was it just once?
I don't know, like 3 times. Yeah,
No, you're right. You're right.
He lived in the CFP, and his quarterbacks, all they do is win Heisman.
No, you're right.
I think Caleb Williams could win the Heisman this year.
I just didn't feel like there was a lot of substance with his programs. And maybe my issue is with the defense. And he brought Alex Grinch over as his defensive coordinator, and he's got a decent reputation dating all the way back to Washington State.
He was great in Pullman.
Yeah, he was okay in Pullman. He was okay.
It got him the job at Ohio State. You got to be pretty good to be DC and in Pullman, and Urban Meyer calls you and say, come do this in Columbus. That's what happened.
I'm just trying to get you to back off on the hype a little bit. You think this is going to happen
10 wins.
Day one. There's no way that USC is going to win 10 football games. Don't forget, when you put a 4-year player into the USC football program, he's there for one reason and one reason only. Not to be there for 4 years, maybe not even to be there for 3. When you come to USC, you come for name, image, and likeness. You come to raise your profile. You come for social media. You come for marketing opportunities. You come for endorsement opportunities. You come to meet celebrities, and you come to build an NFL career. You take every one of those factors, and this has been a problem at USC for 20 years with people who are in the program for 2, 3, 4 years. Now you're bringing in 50 transfers, selfish individual transfers, and the only reason they came to USC is to get on board with the hype and to take advantage of name, image, and likeness, profile, social media, marketing, endorsements, celebrities, and the NFL. We're talking a bunch of individuals on this football team ball game, and I don't think it's going to come together. I'm thinking 8 to 9 wins, which is a good season. Okay. It's a good start. This football program lost 5 of its last 6 games last year. Yep. At least 50% of this roster is still Clay Helton. They haven't won a bowl game in like 7 years. Yeah. This is a program that's going to take some time. Even Lincoln Riley would stand up and tell you it's going to take some time. You think they're going to be national champions in week 1?
I just think they're going to dominate the league in year 1. Yes, they will be one of the dominating teams in the Pac-12. That's my confidence level in Lincoln Riley. I remember when Carson Palmer came on this show as a Heisman Trophy
booster
winner
and a
from
alum,
USC,
a teammate,
and he said it was the absolute perfect hire at the absolute perfect time.
Nobody's disputing that.
Yeah, he doesn't think there's going to be a lot of this is not a 2 or 3 year project. Caleb Williams, he's got him for 2 more years, right? He's a true sophomore, so he can't bolt to the league yet. The Addison kid, Jerry Rice's son at receiver as well. Oregon's running back transfer. They call them the free agents. And I was diving into this roster, and the whole 2 deep, okay, half the 2 deep are transfers. Yeah. And that scares you. I think that's terrific. And most of those guys have probably been there since spring ball. Prater, they're good to go. They're 18, 19, 20-year-old kids. They're going to be fine. Lincoln Riley is going to abuse some of these Pac-12 teams. They're not going to be able to stop him.
Let me ask you the ultimate question here. How often does reality match your hype in your life?
I don't know. I don't keep track. I call it like I see it. I think USC is going to kick ass.
I keep score because I'm that kind of shallow individual. Reality very rarely meets hype. And in your life, I have a feeling you've lived an entire life of disappointment because you're always about hype, and there's no way with the hype that comes out of your brain, it's matching the reality. It's not going to happen this year. As a matter of fact, for the first time in my life, I'll be rooting against, outside of a Utah game, I'll be rooting against USC. I want Stanford to kick his ass on week 2.
That's always a pesky game. You're right. And they always play early because those are the 2 teams that play Notre Dame every year in the non-con. So the first Pac-12 game every year is typically USC versus Stanford. And I've seen it go both ways all the time in this thing. I remember when Jim Harbaugh pulled off that massive upset when he was coaching Stanford over Pete Carroll. I'm so convinced and so sold on what Lincoln Riley has done. And I think USC, I think he has more power there. I think they have I
love it when you get hyped up because that's easy pickings.
Do I lose this argument if they go 9-3? I don't think I do. I think that still fits my hype. 9-3, 10-2, 11-1. USC is going to be a major factor in the Pac-12 this flipping year. Damn it.
I would agree with that. But that's not what you said the other day. You're talking national championship.
Oh, Prater, I want that clip played. I don't think I've ever said
You've talked about USC competing for a CFP spot. And you've talked about, you said they're going to dominate. So what are they going to win? 10 games and everybody else is going to win 6?
They're going to, if they're 10-2,
USC
they're out of the
is supposed
CFP.
to be good, and USC is going to be good.
Mm-hmm. I think they're going to be really good. 10+ wins.
Where are they going to be at the end of the season?
Yeah, I don't know, man. That Notre Dame game, Thanksgiving weekend.
I could care less about the wins. Where are they going to be at the end of the season? What bowl game are they going to be playing in at the end of the season?
Mr.
Hype, come on.
Don't
tell me the Alamo Bowl.
That's what I was going to say.
Don't tell me so you're telling me they're going to match their hype, but they're going to end up in the Alamo Bowl?
Alamo Bowl's what? Usually the second or third team in the Pac-12.
Third.
Okay.
Maybe fourth.
I think it's a little higher than that, depending if they have a CFP team. Okay. I mean, I think they're going to be a top 3 team in the Pac-12. I just do.
You just said they were going to dominate the Pac-12.
Isn't that dominating if you're a top 3 team?
And now you say they could be a top 3 team. Every expert out there says Oregon, Utah, and USC are going to be the top 3 teams. Those 3 teams, I think, are going to be the top 3 teams.
If they finish 14th, where they are in the AP poll right now, I think I win this thing. I think I can say I told you so. They were ready year 1.
I need to see what bowl game. I need to see what bowl game they end up in, because very well could be 2 teams ahead of them, which means they finish 3rd in the Pac-12, and you lose your argument because USC at 14 right now.
1 or 2. Okay.
I think they have to go to the Rose Bowl or the CFP to match your hype.
I mean, is it wrong for me to sit here and say I like USC more than Oregon? I like their coach better. I like their quarterback way better. Hell, Oregon's pissed off because USC stole their running back. I like USC's receiving core better than Oregon's. Like, why do I have to say Oregon is going to be better than USC? I'm not, because I don't think that. I'm taking dun 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 dun. Can't you wait to hear that 25 times a game when USC is back?
I love that. When I went to the Washington State game a couple of years ago in Pullman, I purposely got seats next to the band so I could hear that for 3.5 hours. That was a horrible version, and your debate for the last 3 hours has been a horrible version. USC is going to be good. And unless they get to the Rose Bowl or the CFP, you lose this debate.
Okay. Yeah, I'll stand behind that, JP. Do we want to play the audio of Josh Newman, who we had on the show last hour, who talked about his thoughts on this USC hype that I am buying in hook, line, and sinker?
It's a tough question. I mean, I think there's a cap to it. Obviously, Lincoln Riley comes in, you hit the transfer portal, and you get a bunch of very good skill position guys, right? From Caleb Williams and Jordan Addison, the wide receiver from Pitt. Travis Dye is a 1,300-yard running back from Oregon. So you have clearly updated your roster. There's no question about that. The thing that I keep coming back to is that they have really not been able to fully address their offensive line and defensive line. Okay, turning that around and refreshing that in a year, in one offseason, is very, very hard. So am I buying the hype? Yes, to an extent, but I think there are enough holes, enough questions, enough potential depth issues where Utah, to me, is the clear favorite to win the Pac-12. Oregon with Dan Lanning, first-year head coach, but he is coaching Mario Cristobal recruited players. Oregon's going to be in the mix. I think USC, I voted USC personally number 2 in the preseason poll. You want to vote him 2, you want to vote him 3, that's fine. I think Lincoln Riley is elite at what he does in his profession. I'm buying the hype, but there is absolutely like an extent to which they're not making the college football playoff.
Gotcha.
Okay, so you could stop that now. Like, they're not winning 12 games. They strike me as like a 9-3 team, maybe make the Pac-12 championship game. And again, you get another offseason, you get another couple of off seasons. USC it's going to return to what USC was, just not right now.
I need to look this up real quick, but is this the year the Pac-12 gets rid of divisions and they take 1 and 2?
Yep. I believe they kept divisions, but they take 1 and 2 winning percentages. Yeah. So, yeah, that does help, because I would say the South has 2 of the 3 best teams in the league.
So it could be still a Utah USC in the Pac-12 championship.
Are you going to that game on October 15th?
You already have the tickets.
Do you really?
5 of them.
Yeah, USC at Utah, October 15th, Boise State's bye week. That worked out perfect for you. What do you guys think about our conversation, or just love or hate us, whatever the hell, I don't care. 208-424-9300.
I think Josh Newman agreed with both of us.
So he buys the hype, but only to a certain level.
Exactly.
Yeah, all right. Mountain West Bank Prep Rally. High school football in the Valley begins tomorrow night. Full-on regular season games in one of the best rivalries. That's what we're talking about next on Prater and the Ballgame. Idaho Sports Talk.
From the Beacon Plumbing Traffic Studios, this is Ticket Traffic.
Coming out